So thanks for tuning in. I'm here with Matthew of Madina Lake. How you doing, man?
I'm doing as well as one could be doing. My
Yeah,
my traditional answer for that is above average, but I can't say that these days.
yeah. So I mean, obviously talking about that, how's lockdown been for you? You okay? You been spending much time during this downtime doing anything, or?
Yeah, it's weird. It's sort of, and I think probably a lot of the world can relate, but it ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
Um, at first it was like shocking and like, what the hell's going on? We're like under martial law.
yeah, yeah,
We can't leave our homes. What do you mean? Um, and then you started to recognize the value of reconnecting with your community.
yeah,
But then that transitioned into like everybody being afraid to interact with each other. So then isolationism set in,
yeah,
and then sort of hit this long belaboring phase of where we have Nathan and I both have sons that are two and a half, almost three, and you know they can't, like, parents around here are weird about play dates, and so it's just like we want them to have the upbringing that we had, which, wow, that may be a little toned down version of that.
yeah, yeah,
Eliminate the danger factor.
yeah,
Just like an uninhibited, uh, socialized, a lot of friends around everywhere, and so that's been tough. But it's starting to. I feel like it's starting to turn a corner.
yeah. So how is it? Are you in? Is it Chicago? You're in?
Most normally,
Yeah. What's it like over there? Because I mean, over here in the UK, it's like the rates are starting to go up a little bit now. So
and now I know this because my wife is Mancunian.
right, okay. That's where I'm based. Yeah, in Manchester. Yeah,
Oh, are you really?
yeah.
Whereabouts?
Well, I live in Droylsden, so it's kind of like on the outskirts. I mean, I don't know how much you know about football, but do you know the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City?
Oh, I've been there several
Yeah,
times.
yeah. Not too far from there, really. So yeah,
Incredible. I'm a few
that's
tram
crazy.
stops away from you.
What's that? Sorry.
I'm a few tram stops away from you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we split time, so we'll be in Sale half the year, and
Right.
then States the other half.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Sale's not too far away from me. So that's pretty crazy, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, small world.
Well, so I mean, other than lockdown, which everyone's kind of going through now, you guys, on more positive news, you guys have got a new EP coming out, the beginning of a new endings. How's it feel
Yeah,
to be putting out new music again?
fantastic.
Yep.
It's weird when you do what you know, they say, the ultimate objective is to make your hobby your career, right? Or what you love to do.
Yep.
And so we did it, and we managed to do it for 10 years. And then transitioning out of that, we felt like it was, uh, and Nathan said it well the other day on the interview. Um, we didn't we didn't end it on our terms. It was sort of a forced ending because my health after I got my ass kicked.
Yeah. Yep.
It wasn't really a fair fight. It wasn't a fight, but
No, but you still did the right thing, man.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. um, but yeah, so I wasn't very Nathan started noticing, I was really sluggish, and like I couldn't do long sets and things like that. So we sort of pulled ourselves off the road, and after taking over a year to recover, um, that's an eternity in a band's life.
Yeah.
It wasn't realistic for us to sustain a career, to continue to sustain a career under those circumstances, and so we always kind of felt like that wasn't right,
Right.
and we weren't happy about it. So then life goes on, and after that, you've got Mateo back in Colombia, Nathan in Los Angeles, me in England, our drummer in Nashville.
Right.
So
All over the place, basically. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And Nathan and Mateo were writing for commercials and film stuff, so pretty stock generic stuff, and that was getting to them. And I had launched a charity, to get back to all of the abundance of love that I really fully attribute to saving my life. And so we're doing that work, and it's great and everything, but we would maybe 3 or 4 times a year, we would all we'd all converge in Los Angeles, and it just felt so right.
Yeah.
Like we're there writing together, and it's like, man, this is what we do.
Yeah.
So we started writing. I had no idea what we were going to do with them. This is throughout the 9 years.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and we're like, let's do it. And it just so happened, like, that's when our sort of creative, you can't capture that
Yeah.
thing in a bottle. It just like sort of happens when it happens, whether it's convenient for you or not.
Yeah.
So it's been really convenient that way, because we've been, Mateo will send us the rudiments of the tracks, and then Nathan and I will just start, tearing them to shreds, sending him notes back and forth. We get it in the shape we want it. We send it to our drummer, Chris, and then he lays the drums over them, and then Nathan will do his final vocal pass. And then, we have a very high standard for ourselves, so everything has to pass our holy shit test.
Yeah.
Means yeah. Like, the thing that's so great about music is, what we love about it is when it builds tension, like it engages you in the beginning and then builds tension, it takes you for a ride, and then it has this big crescendo at the payoff, like the holy shit moment.
Yeah.
And we started, we're like, hey, we've got 3 or 4 of these that passed the holy shit test. Let's go for it. And so we did the EP, and now we have like another EP that's coming right around the bend.
Oh, cool. So you basically got this one that's coming soon, and then another one in the pipeline as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We hit this creative stride overall, just sort of having a renaissance of our original love affair.
Well, I mean, like I say, as soon as those creative juices get flowing, you've just got to take advantage of it, right?
It's strike while the iron's hot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when did the ideas start come together to start making this EP? Like was the song ideas been there for a while, or was it when you guys, like you said, came back to it after a few years?
So we had, Mateo is a very prolific writer. Because that's what he does in Colombia. He writes for commercials and stuff.
Right.
But when he writes something that he loves, he'll send it to us.
Right.
And Nathan and I will stake our flag in it. We'll be like, take that off. Or, don't let any of your work people have that. We want that.
That's yours now.
Yeah, exactly. That's ours. And so, we had, I think, 3 of those by the time COVID hit. And so we just decided, okay, now everybody's got this downtime. This work situation is weird. Is my lighting bad? Do you need I'll turn this light on. Look at this light. Oh,
It does the job.
Yeah, and so it was really just taking shape so nicely, and we were really excited about it. The thing about being in a band is you're the only people in the world who have no idea what people think of your band, like if people do it.
Yeah.
So in being perfectly transparent, I thought, all right, how about we release a song a month, and then we'll make it an EP. We always want to be good to our audience. We're very much, you know, a sort of a fan favorite band.
Yeah.
So then we created this like really cool box set with vinyl and everything like that, and said we'll just see if anyone gives a shit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was expecting best case scenario 104 likes. Like I thought that would probably be, you know, what would
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
And suddenly we got 170,000 spins a week on
Way
Spotify.
past your expectations then, like smash
Yeah,
them. Yeah, smash them.
yeah. And it's a testament to the audience that we built over the years. They're just the greatest people in the world, and it's so gratifying knowing that we contributed to the creation of this community.
Yeah.
Who are still friends with each other, and they're still connected to the band, and they're still there,
Yeah.
you know, and how glorious and lucky for us to have that.
Awesome. I know like you
Had in there somewhere, or whatever the question was.
you got there. You got there.
Okay, cool.
So I know obviously your records were all conceptually based.
Yeah.
Is that the same with this EP, or is that completely separate?
We can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so the first one, and I won't be too tangential here, but it was the most pretentious, sort of overambitious, you know, thing like, oh, we're gonna do 3 records and unfold this big social commentary.
You got to set your sights high, right? You know.
Yeah, exactly. Naively, but shockingly, we managed to pull it off. And what the whole purpose of it was, prophesizing, is like a warning sign that if our cultures continued enacting the values that the path that we are on of their value systems,
Yeah.
then a dystopian future is imminent. And so it sort of prophesized that, and that I feel like we're living that now. So it sort of came true.
Right.
So now that we're in this weird phase, this one is addressing the 7 deadly sins.
Okay.
So the concept being, here, you know, here's where we are, here's how we got here, here's what we're gonna do about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll leave it there.
I take it, you know, you mentioned like there's another EP coming later down the line. I take it that's also going down a conceptual route as well. Yep.
Yep.
You got to stick to your guns.
I can't help myself.
So
these little dudes, I think, hate that. They hate it, but
I mean,
yeah.
I mean the concept. I know obviously the initial plan, like you said, was you do the 3 records, and you've already got the. Did you already have the concept planned out, as in this first record is going to be this much,
Yes.
the second record is going to be this much? Did that kind of, I suppose in some ways, some people would say that's kind of like constraining because you've now got to stick to this concept you've made. But in other ways, some people could say, well, you've got a vision now, you know where you're going, you've got a direction. Like,
Yeah.
What would you say how that went for you? I know you say you like making the concept, but I suppose you've had a bit of both as you were making those records, right?
That's a really good question. Yeah. And so how we broke it down was, well, one thing, it always frustrates me when artists are accredited for, you know, their obscure lyrics that that they got off of a road sign. You know?
Yeah.
And people are assigning all this deep value and meaning to it, and I'm like, I've spoken to these people. They told me that, you know, nothing basically.
There is no meaning there, yeah.
Yeah. So my motivation was, I've got, back in 2005, you know, we had the whole concept what we wanted to say, and then it was sort of up to me to say it. And Nathan and I, our interplay with his lyrics was the characters of the town that he would be writing about. He would be writing about real people,
Right.
usually my exes. And then I would then have to sort of navigate the story to accommodate that. So,
right.
In other words, like, you know, everything that he writes is 100% based on real experiences. I had to fantasize them
And turn them into a concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're doing, and then in the end, I explained everything, like all of the hidden messages and the, you know, in the artwork and in the songs and the stuff we would do at shows. To just to be like, look, we really meant this. Like you know, this wasn't bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, we're doing that with this one as well. Nathan is just writing. What you don't want to do is step on the lyricist's toes or inhibit him in any way or box him into anything.
Yeah.
So I'll take what he's writing and apply it to the concept, and then, you know, write the sort of theme around it.
Right. So sorry. So what you're saying? So he writes the lyrics. He will then give you the lyrics, and then you'll kind of like change them to fit the concept, give them back, and then you kind of obviously morph it into the melodies and into the actual song itself.
Yeah. Well, so I won't change the lyrics at all.
Right.
But I'll have, you know, my notion of what I want to say, or what I want the concept to be, and he'll give me the lyrics, and then I'll take those lyrics, and then I'll develop the characters and the sort of the narrative or the concept.
Right. Okay. Right.
On that. So
right.
Cool. Yeah, you can't F with a lyricist's lyrics.
No.
Very sensitive people.
And how do you kind of like, obviously, I think it's like your first new music in a decade now, right?
Yeah.
So how do you kind of look back at your older music now? I know obviously it's all concept driven, but do you look back at it like fondly, and you're still happy with the product?
Yes. I always have this thing that I say. I probably say the same thing every time, but I think that if you're in a band, you should be in your favorite band, right?
Right.
It seems just logical and sensible to me.
Yeah.
And when you tour as much as we did, you meet so many bands, and I was astounded at how many bands were not in their favorite bands, or they didn't like the music they were playing. You know, and I was like, well,
then why are you doing it?
Yeah, why are you doing it for? You know?
Yeah.
So it seemed a little contrarian to me. And I can honestly say that I'm in my favorite band. So, you know, from them, the first record is it's the foundation of Madina Lake.
Right.
Did our second record, we did it with this big A-level producer, who's done like the Paramore records, and you know, just one of these big time guys. You know, prior to that, we do mostly everything in house because Matteo is an unbelievable engineer, mixer, you know, producer, everything. So we like doing everything in house, and we butted heads during Addicts to Eden every day. I mean, this producer would shut down the session.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was hilarious. Sorry. We would get the message. We would get the message in the morning. Don't go to the studio, from our manager. Don't go to the studio today. The session down again until you know they had to work out some things.
Right.
It was because we don't allow anyone else to write on our records.
Yeah.
Like, we want to write all the music, and it was a big learning curve for us, because that's when we learned that a lot of other bands that are, I don't want to say most, but if I was making a supposition, perhaps I would. They have other people writing or co-writing, and fine, good for them. But Madina Lake's ethos are different.
Yeah.
And so that record is the only one that sort of, from a production standpoint, I think doesn't sit well in the discography, even though I love the record, I love the songs, but it has this really polished sheen kind of vibe. Everything else we've done on our own. And recently I've been, probably 5 or 6 people have told me that we have a very identifiable sound.
Right.
And that is such a compliment. That felt so good.
That's what you want. You don't want to sound like everyone else or people
Right.
confuse you, right?
Right. And surprisingly, other people do want that.
And even like, even if people like hate you, I'd rather be hated or loved than just like, oh, they're all right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Because then people are talking about you, and that's
Yeah.
that's exactly what you want, right?
Exactly.
The mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody can blow the whistle on you. You never have to look over your shoulder because you always stay true to your.
Yeah. Well, I suppose what you were saying as well with the producer, and you don't really like people like putting their hands in and helping write your songs. I suppose that's also because of the concept that you were talking about. You don't want it to kind of like taint the vision, right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, they get involved in ways you wouldn't believe. I mean, you will deliver them. Say you record a record and then you send it to be mixed.
Yep.
And you think they're just gonna tweak, they're gonna suck the mids out, so the bass frequency can sit right where it needs to be, and clear a path for the vocals to pop, just things like that.
Yeah.
It'll come back like an EDM song. We're like, the hell are you doing? So yeah, we just keep everything in house now. And
yeah. So it's like sending someone to someone and say, paint that blue, and they send it back red, something like that.
Yeah. Exactly. And you're like, we said blue. And like, yeah. Looking at it.
Well, so take it this EP and also the next one, it's all been DIY in-house then, yeah?
Yeah, we did we did Dresden, World War III. We did all three of them 100% by ourselves with Matteo at the helm.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're very lucky to have a guy like Matteo,
Yeah.
Every band, if every band had a guy like Matteo, I think there'd be a lot better music.
Yeah, don't sugarcoat it. Just say it as it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, speaking of in-house, and you did, obviously because touring's on ice right now for the foreseeable. You guys did your like quarantine performance of Never Take Us Alive.
Yeah.
And you've also recently announced you've got 3 special, like more fuller sets for November, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously that's a completely different live experience, but kind of like the normal for now.
Yeah.
What was it kind of like you guys rehearsing for those and recording it and the whole experience really, and what was it like?
Okay, so I mean, I'll let you know when we start rehearsing.
Oh, okay.
Those so we just announced 3 live stream shows.
Yeah.
In November, and we're using you can get tickets on Veeps.com, which is Benji from Good Charlotte.
Right.
Fantastic guy. It's an artist friendly and fan friendly ticketing platform. There's no middlemen taking fees and jacking up the prices, So I was very reticent to do this live stream thing. I was really just hoping that this whole thing would go over because it's hard to nothing can replace the live experience.
Yeah.
However, Kevin Lyman, who founded Warped Tour,
Yep.
is a close friend of mine. And he put me in touch with a woman who owns Social Sanctuary, which is a venue outside of LA. And it's this gorgeous, just big open warehouse with 2 stages. And they have production, like my dream production.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They've got 3 LED screens for big stages set up on a mid-sized stage. So you basically have like 3 huge animated LED screens.
Right.
So we can produce, so we're creating like something really, really special. I also had Frank Zuma from Sum 41,
Right.
he's a drummer. He just did a show for us because we're doing I'm putting together a benefit for our charity, benefiting EQ and social emotional learning, things like that. And so he filmed his, and it's looking like Bishop Briggs, and I don't know how, but they found me, are going to be the other bands.
Right.
I will be announcing that soon. But Frank filmed his, and it is so cool. It looks so awesome. So I was like, okay, let's do this. Because then we can give the audience a real experience, like,
Yeah.
instead of just like we're in front of our computers playing our songs.
Yeah. Because that's what your Never Take Us live performance was, right? It's that you guys in your respective houses performing your bits and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, we're all flying to LA to do this. So like we're putting a lot into it, and it's going to be a big production. I mean, if anybody is considering, buying tickets for it, we wanted to keep the ticket price low. I think we did $8 for one show, US, and $10 for all 3. Like, because we just want people to see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're gonna give them their money's worth for sure.
Yeah.
If they're expecting Mateo and Nathan to just sit there and do their acoustic thing, it's not that at all.
Yeah. So you're going basically all out as much as you can for the live stream experience as it is at the moment. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it translates from me watching what Frank did. It blew my mind. And Death by Stereo did one, and theirs looked incredible. So it's a really good, finally found the right combination of platforms to encourage me to do it.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of what it is, because it's kind of like, it's not completely uncharted territory, but it kind of is as well, because not many bands have done it, but now it's kind of like you have to do it, because
exactly.
What's the alternative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just takes that one band to be the guinea pig. Thanks to Death by Stereo, they did it, and they were, from what I understand, they were terrified to do it.
Yeah.
Playing in front of nobody, but to the world,
So you're gonna have to kind of like pretend there's a crowd in front of you when actually it's just a few cameras dotted about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of bands are still totally afraid to do it. I mean, it's hard for me to book the benefit show.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw it, I was like, we got this one. Because the production elements alone are really cool.
Yeah. Well, what do you think is going to be the future of that kind of live stream thing? Let's say obviously we get a vaccine in a few months or a year or however long it is. Things go back to normal, gigs can happen again. Do you think live streams will still happen a lot more than they did beforehand?
That's a really good question.
Because I think as well, like if you're doing like a special show in LA, like you say, I'm here in the UK, I can't physically go to the show unless I spend a lot of money, but I still want to see that experience. You could then make a live stream experience there as well.
So a long time ago, I said, like when we first started touring, we're driving all over the States in a van,
Yeah.
And it was like, bus call or van call would be at 11:30 p.m. just when the show ended. I'm like, oh, why? It's like, oh, we have a 12-hour drive to the next show,
Yeah.
And so when we got to Vegas, I was like, bands should just do Vegas residencies, because the fans are constantly, everyone's going to Vegas all the time. So you're playing to a new audience. Like,
yeah,
this is sort of that same philosophy, like what you're suggesting. Like, if
yeah,
you get to a show, it's really expensive to tour for bands.
yeah,
So they're limited in where they can go and when, and all the logistics and planning and costs that go into it. It does make touring a daunting proposition.
yeah,
Um, so I think it'll be a combination of the two.
yeah.
Nothing can replace the live experience, though. You know?
And yeah, you'll never be able to replicate that.
Yeah.
But I just think, I kind of, obviously before like COVID happened, I always kind of thought in my head, like, you get pay-per-view events for wrestling, for all kind of sporting events,
Yeah.
but you don't really get it for music. I just didn't really know.
Yeah.
And obviously there's like some kind of like legal implications or whatever, and licensing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I suppose with what's happened right now, it's kind of like shown like it is possible if you really want to do it. Like, it's just interesting to see how it kind of integrates into normality when that finally comes back around.
That's a really good point. It's something I'm glad you brought it up. I want to put some more thought into it because, like you said, these wrestlers do pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And make bazillions of dollars.
Yeah.
So how does it make sense then to go to, Detroit, Toledo, Indianapolis,
Yeah. And like I say, you can't replace that live experience. But as we said before, like, if I wanted to, you do like a special show in Vegas or wherever it may be, and I can't logistically get there or financially get there.
Yeah.
But for the band as well, you're kind of getting a bit of extra money for facilitating that service, which kind of like, especially when you think of like streaming services, kind of like, and the whole download digital thing over the years has kind of like reduced the band income generally.
Yep.
Kind of makes up for that, and you're using the digital experience then to benefit you, whereas streaming and downloads, I did the reverse for you years prior.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this also then, so it opens it up in perpetuity, like the whole world. So, your potential, if you're playing a city and the population is 800,000 people, there's a capacity on how many people can come to your show.
Yeah.
If you open it up to the whole world, there is none.
Yeah, exactly.
Merge. You can chat with your fans, engage with them. So it does come with a lot of benefits that I hadn't thought of. So I'm glad you mentioned all that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I went off a bit of tangent, but yeah, it's just something to consider with what happens next. But I guess the next question is kind of what else have you guys got in the pipeline? You've talked about, obviously you've got this new EP coming up soon, another EP on the way after that. You've got these shows in November.
Yeah.
What else is on the horizon for Madina Lake?
So we have our agent routing us some US dates. Our UK agent is routing us some UK dates. The plan, as it stands now, is a festival in the UK, and then we come back for 3 weeks where we'll probably do I'm guessing we'll do our US dates then, and then to come back and do a full UK tour. So that's as far as we've gotten, and the timeline of it is really sort of an as and when. We're looking at April. But as soon as they flip that switch, which, come on, let's do it already,
Yeah. Because then you're counting days, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people need entertainment.
Right.
They need community. They need engagement. They need to be around people, Yeah. It's such a disservice, and it's creating, what's happening right now is creating an extraordinary amount of anxiety, depression, for those prone to addiction. Your addiction it's going to manifest, it's going to emerge.
Yeah.
it's a tough time. It's a really difficult time for everybody.
Yeah. And the worst part is there's just uncertainty. Like there's no
That's it.
clear end, like clear finish line of when this is all over.
Yeah, exactly. And like as my wife would say, I can't stand when I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as I know what I'm dealing with, I can handle it.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's weird, just this not knowing. It's very tough.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought it's September?
Yeah.
It's like well into September. It's
Yeah.
almost the end of it.
Yeah. And it's just like what went, like there's Christmas, a few months down the line. How's that even gonna look like?
Yeah, exactly. Can we afford to buy Christmas presents? And we're gonna have to, deliver them through like latex protected doorways,
Yeah, wear a hazmat suit or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I suppose other than that, you got any final words? Anything else you want to say?
I'm so humbled that for one, you've taken the time to do the interview and talk to us. Thank you for that. And everybody listening, same thing. We really appreciate it. I think that this new EP, I call it TBONE, because what a great hashtag is, like, thinking of new endings.
Yeah.
How did we get that worked out? It's my favorite release it's my favorite thing we've ever put out. And I haven't been able to say that for a long time, So
big words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love it. So I hope everybody gives it a real shot, and I hope that it enriches lives in any way.